All right, so it still blows my mind that almost everybody we talk to literally still has no idea that polyester nylon clothing, yoga athletic outfits are literally all made of pure plastic, polyethylene terephthalate made from oil. And is chemically processed with a bunch of endocrine disrupting, hormone disrupting chemicals that can give you disease, to give you the whole tangent. They literally have no idea. Like, I know you said you were talking to somebody the other day that literally had no idea. I think they maybe have some frame of mind that it's not a natural material, polyester and nylon. But I believe they don't know it's plastic.
Yeah.
Like
her pants ripped, and she was like, "Oh, these are really nice pants." And I was like, "Well, they look like polyester to me." And she was like, "Yeah, what is that?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but it's plastic." And she was like, so confused. She didn't even understand what I was trying to tell her.
That's nuts. Yeah, because people are paying very high prices for plastic clothing, and they have no idea it's plastic.
Yeah.
Like, because they're really good at tricking you. They can really get some plastic and make it feel pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, but a big thing with these plastic clothes and the plastic yoga athletic outfits, it's like a lot of people I notice have skin conditions like eczema and stuff these days. And it's strange to me that their like entire wardrobe is just polyester and nylon, and all their yoga clothes and athletic clothes are all polyester plastic poison, and that stuff is really bad for your skin. Like, one thing I keep telling people, which they don't fully come to terms with, is that when you wear polyester and nylon plastic clothing, these yoga athletic outfits, those plastics and the chemicals in the plastics leach into your skin, go into your body and accumulate over time. Like one of the chemicals that are in the clothes that will leach into your body, and there's an endless amount of chemicals, by the way, ones that we don't even know the name of, ones that we just discovered today too, because there's BPA in a lot of polyester nylon clothes, bisphenol A, and we're just finding out that there's BPS, BPFA, BPAF, what was it, BPZ, and a whole wide array of bisphenols. And a big thing they're doing today is, I see it on a lot of plastic packaging, although I don't see it on the plastic clothes, but they're saying BPA free on the plastic packaging. And guess what they're doing? Yeah, it is BPA free, but it's not BPS free. It's not PFAS, forever chemicals free. It's not phthalates free, and it's not the endless other chemicals that are too complicated to name in the plastics and in the plastic clothing. But anyway, those chemicals, so people have a hard time understanding that those chemicals are leaching into their skin, especially when you sweat, and chemicals and very fine micro and nanoplastics are also going straight into your body. And so the biggest thing, so one of the chemicals found in polyester clothes and yoga athletic outfits and whatnot that are all made of plastic is PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, as they call them, forever chemicals. And the reason they're called forever chemicals is because they accumulate in your body and in the environment, and they don't go away. So the biggest thing, and the reason why I think this is such a serious issue, and the reason why we've basically put all of our efforts and energy and design into this issue, is because the biggest thing, our whole entire lives are surrounded by toxic plastics and chemicals. And those toxic plastics and chemicals are leaching everywhere. They're airborne and they're leaching into our body. We're consuming it through our mouth, and we're absorbing it through our skin, and we're breathing them in through particles and in the air.
There's almost no time of day when you're not wrapped in plastic. So you sleep, your sheets are most likely polyester unless you have natural like silk or linen sheets. you take a shower, right? You get up, you take a shower. Your towel is probably polyester.
Yep.
The clothes you put on immediately afterwards are polyester. Your toothbrush is probably plastic.
Yep.
It's like you're consuming plastic daily, 24/7.
It's encapsulated in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally every aspect of your life is encapsulated in toxic plastics and the chemicals. People don't understand that plastic and plastic clothing, polyester nylon, is treated with tons of chemicals. And to create those plastics, they use tons of chemicals, and those chemicals leach out of the plastics and go into your body. And so what I was trying to say is they accumulate in your body. And the biggest thing, a lot of people tell me, oh, but there's all those plastics and chemicals that you're getting from everywhere else, from the food and from food packaging and bottles and other things. Yeah, but the biggest problem, the biggest thing is to limit exposure. And the thing with your clothes is and especially the yoga athletic outfits, I see women wearing them consistently, is that you're wearing these clothes all day and night long. And as you said, your bed can be in them. So you're just encapsulated in these plastic materials all day and night long. And so your body is literally being exposed more through your clothes than anywhere else around you. So that's why, obviously I design clothes, so that's a thing. But the serious nature of this is that you're wearing your clothes all the time. So no matter what, you're being exposed when you're wearing polyester and nylon plastic clothing processed with chemicals. Because again, plastic has tons of chemicals to process it, especially polyester and nylon clothing. Like you have to think, how are they turning plastic into clothes, into fabric? So, but yeah, that's the thing. It's the biggest thing is to limit exposure. If you're being exposed, because what causes the diseases inside of you, and by the way, these materials are all endocrine disruptors, polyester and nylon, so they mess with your hormones, mess with your entire body's regulatory function, especially they're dangerous in children, causing developmental issues in children. And there's a lot of other things that are happening to children at a high rate these days that I won't even say, but there's a very strong possibility that these plastics and the chemicals from the plastics and the polyester nylon clothing have something to do with it. Again, so the biggest issue here is to limit exposure. So if you're being exposed everywhere else, you want to at least limit your amount of exposure, because these chemicals and plastics will accumulate in your body and they won't go away. So you want to limit the amount inside of your body. And so the reason, I advocate so strongly for the clothes is because you're wearing your clothes all day and night long, constantly being exposed to these chemicals and plastic particles, to, again, PFAS, forever chemicals, endless bisphenols, BPA, BPS, BPFA, BPZ, BPS, phthalates, and a wide range of other chemicals, and the micro and nanoplastics, all going inside of your body through your skin. Your body can absorb them. People want to deny this, but your skin can absorb chemicals and microscopic particles.
Also specify.
A really funny fact that I found out earlier is I'm digging deeper. The deeper I dig into this problem, the more serious it becomes to me, and the more insane I feel like I'm becoming, because there's no way that this is just happening right under everybody's noses, and there's endless amounts of people profiting off this. But that BPA, which is one of the chemicals used in polyester nylon clothing, and BPS and whatever, all the endless bisphenols, was, I believe in the 20s or 30s, tested as a synthetic estrogen to give to women. So the literal mission right now, and the entire vision has become ending plastic in clothing for us and for me. And all the clothes we're designing now is towards that mission. Like literally we've pivoted every piece of, energy that we have into attempting to fix that problem and educating at the same time, because literally everybody we talk to has no idea that polyester and nylon clothing, all their yoga athletic outfits are made of pure plastic. And also the environmental impacts of these clothes and chemicals are endless. The microplastics that end up everywhere, end up in the oceans through every time you wash your polyester nylon clothes. Plastic and chemicals go into the waterways, end up in the oceans. Plastics are accumulating in the ocean at substantially high levels. Plastic clothing does not degrade, so every time you throw it away, it's going into the environment, and it's going to be there for thousands of years. And a lot of it is ending up in the oceans. A lot of it is ending up in natural places, causing significant devastation. And the problem right now is that the majority of clothes being made is polyester nylon plastic, and we need to stop that, and we need to pivot that direction before it gets really, really serious, because this is just the beginning stages, because throughout human history we've never used plastic for clothing. It really, really became popular, I would say, in the late 80s till now. It's exploding, plastic clothing. And if this continues, it's going to create a lot of problems for the future. The environmental problems are endless, and the problems on our body, the amount of people getting sick and diseases these days is so astronomical, and the diseases are all things that these chemicals and plastics cause. We're being surrounded by them, and it's a serious issue. So that's the vision now, is to eliminate plastic in clothing. And that's our part to play in eliminating plastics, the majority of plastics in society, because I believe we started using plastics really in the 60s and above. And the amount of devastation plastic has caused society is insane. Like, people are getting sick from plastic. The environment is getting sick from plastic. And companies are profiting billions of dollars from plastic. And there are some cases for plastic, but in the majority, especially clothing, it's totally unnecessary. And natural fibers feel good on your body. They make you feel great. People like to talk about the frequencies, which would just mean repeating patterns. But the frequency, as they say, of natural clothing, wool, linen, cotton, blah, 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 is as high as could ever be. And polyester and nylon is horrible for your body. Well, this is just random, unrelated. But I really, really think part of us fixing the problem of plastic polyester clothing is creating our own fabric, like ourselves, and then also selling the fabric to all the other small companies that are trying to actually make some change, because it's almost impossible to get great material, especially at a decent price.
Yeah.
So if we were the ones that produced it, and we're basically, like, in some way, like, selling the technology to others to use, because it's not just a selfish endeavor. Like, because after we solve the material issue, and I mean, we'll keep developing insane materials, but then it's just about design at that point. Like beautiful looking clothes.
For our evolving on that and getting better over time.
Yeah.
Is really the goal of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Getting and hitting every aspect of
Clothing production.
The clothing production, yeah.
Yeah.
In a, ethical way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the idea of being ethical and this and that, I think it's the wrong approach. It's just like a human way. It's like caring about humanity. It's like if you're a company selling polyester, nylon, plastic clothes, like with all these chemicals in it, destroying people's health and the environment, it's like a humanity thing. It's like, how do you feel good about yourself doing that? Like when I see all these yoga athletic companies selling all these women billions of dollars worth of poison plastic outfits and women living in them. I'm like, how do these people live with themselves? Like, how are you comfortable with yourself knowing that you're producing your clothes in a slave factory overseas where there's no environmental or labor laws, and you're using plastic poison fabric that costs nothing to produce? Like, how do you feel good about yourself? Like, fuck ethical. It's just like on a human level. Like, how do you really think you're doing a service to your fellow humans? Like, it's like and I think that goes to what the vision is about too, what we're doing and why we're even tackling this problem, and even getting into the yoga athletic clothing, because we were just doing other clothes before out of beautiful natural materials, but like after I think we started seeing what was going on with the yoga athletic clothes and how much they're being consumed, and the chemicals they're using for the polyester nylon, and polyester nylon being plastic, and that these clothes are made in foreign factories where it's like the worst conditions ever. Women are being abused, workers are being enslaved, they're dumping all the chemicals, and they also use really toxic dyes that leach out of the materials when you're wearing them and in the environment and stuff. But they're also, when they're dyeing the clothes with the toxic chemicals, and the chemicals they use to process the plastic, they're all dumping that in local rivers in foreign countries. It's like where those people in non-Western countries are paying, they're paying the price for our horrible clothes that we're consuming. Not us, but other people are consuming. It's like we ignore these things in the West so much. We've become such a consumerist society that like we don't pay attention to anything happening around us because we're just accepting everything that's being given to us, and we're being sold on billion-dollar, million-dollar marketing budgets, trying to convince us to buy clothes that are horrible for you. And it's like nobody even thinks about anything else other than, oh, they saw this famous person or whatever buy these clothes or use these clothes, which, by the way, they were given, either paid to wear them or given those clothes, which I think is so insane that people think that's acceptable to use them as a reference of what clothes to buy. I still want to reiterate, it's like, yeah, because I hear people a lot, they're like, oh, the clothes you're making, the alternative yoga athletic clothes that you're making are really expensive, and it's way out of reach for a lot of people. But the problem is we literally can't lower the price. It's not like the price we have it at is actually a very low price. Like we actually argue amongst ourselves about the price because we have it really low in comparison to what it costs to make. Like because I think we're literally the only people that do not use a factory. Even a lot of the factories in America are really sketchy for clothing. So we're not using a foreign factory or even a factory around. We're creating it out of our own fashion studio. We're literally only using the highest quality natural materials. So like we're using a pure undyed organic cotton grown and processed in America. We're using pure merino wool from New Zealand. And it takes quite a bit of fabric and some time to make these clothes. And the reason we're doing this is because we're trying to stop. Like, it's also about like opening people's mind, because literally nobody thinks about what's happening with clothing. Like, it's almost like a obsolete thought. Like, people just consume clothing. Again, everything else in society, yes, but we're focused on the clothes. They just consume, and they're not paying attention to where their clothes are coming from, what they're made of, and what the entire ripple effect of humanity is for their clothes. But yeah, I want to reiterate that it's like the whole point of constantly talking about, and we're literally the only people, I'm the only one talking about this issue right now so severely, about plastic polyester nylon clothing and how harmful it is for your body and the environment, is people need to understand. It's like, again, we talked to a lot of people, and I've been reading a lot of comments on people have been spreading a lot of the videos and stuff. And
Bless up.
yeah, bless. Thank you to the people. I still don't think people are totally grasping the severity of this issue.